Hello everybody, it's me Sprite. Today I'm going to be talking about probably the most underrated masterpiece of a VR game, SYNAPSE. Now before we get started, no, this video is not sponsored by nDreams or SYNAPSE in any shape or form. I just like the game. By the way, nDreams, I applied for your creator thing. Please, man. I'm desperate out here, dog. I recently got a PSVR 2. So you know what that means. I got PlayStation Plus Premium and I started downloading all types of VR games. And one of those titles just so happened to be SYNAPSE, which was on my radar for a long time actually. I just never got around to playing it since, well, I didn't have a PSVR 2 at the time. But now I finally do have a PSVR 2, which means it was actually the first game I played. This and Resident Evil 4 VR, the remake, which I will be doing a review on, don't you worry. But SYNAPSE is the one that really caught my attention, both for its art style and the combat. And this is an nDreams title, so I was expecting something very similar to Fract, which honestly, the combat sort of reminds me of Fract, but we'll get into combat later. So what is SYNAPSE? SYNAPSE is a VR roguelike shooter where you're in the mind of a colonel and you need to access his memories so you can really get down to the bottom of what's really happened. That is just a very TLDR version of the story. It's a little more fleshed out than that. I just like the combat, man. So we're gonna go ahead and start off by talking about the combat. And one of its very unique things about SYNAPSE is how it handles telekinesis. We've seen telekinesis in VR games before. Blade and Sorcery was one of the few games to really give you force powers, basically, in the similar style of Star Wars, where you could pick up characters or throw items. Just hit my mic. I love Blade and Sorcery's telekinesis. I think that is one of the best systems that Blade and Sorcery has. So SYNAPSE handles telekinesis in a very unique way. It uses the eye tracking inside of the PSVR 2 to tell what you're looking at, so that way you can actually use telekinesis on it. So you don't need to completely hold your hand out and aim it at where you want the telekinesis to be. All you have to do is just look at the object you want to use telekinesis on, and it'll do it. Even if your hand is all the way over here, as long as you look to your right, it'll literally pick it up. It's crazy. It's very hard to describe how great it feels. It's really just something you have to experience for the first time in a headset to really understand how cool that is. And I'm new to eye tracking. Okay, I'm very new to eye tracking. I'm not going to act like the PSVR 2's the first one to ever do eye tracking. Obviously, we have eye track solutions before. But this was my first experience with eye tracking. And holy crap, I want eye tracking and I want it now. I want it in every headset I have from now on. The way SYNAPSE handles its eye tracking for the telekinesis and just in general menu options, like even if you're selecting the perks after you die in a run or finish a run, it's tracked by your eyes. You select things by your eyes. It's so crazy to me. And it really makes you feel cool. It really feels like next gen stuff. And I feel like SYNAPSE does a very good job at taking the eye tracking aspect, but not making it a whole gimmick. It feels more like a mechanic that you can use rather than a gimmick that you'll use maybe 3 or 4 times. Be like, oh, that's cool, I like that, and then never use it again. So let's talk about the actual gunplay. I think the gunplay is similar to something you're gonna find in Fract or regular nDreams titles. I think the gunplay here is fine. I think it plays well. I think the guns feel good. I think the reloading system is not my favorite, but it does work for the style of how this game plays. I feel like it's better than if they had manual reloads, and that's coming a lot from the guy who made his career off of reloads. My personal favorite gun has to be the SMG or the shotgun. They feel great. It's too fun. On top of the gunplay, I really like how they integrate the gunplay with telekinesis. You can basically take a guy, lift him up, take out your SMG or your pistol, and just start shooting him while he's in the air. It's so fun. You can also do the same thing with those flying guys. Literally, you can grab them and drag them and pull them out of the air like you're Darth Vader trying to pull away the Millennium Falcon. Plus, the cover system is also something you're going to find basically the exact same from Fract. You can basically grab something from cover or you know, whatnot and be able to pull yourself into cover. And I think it's a very good system. It's one of the things I liked about Fract. Even though I wasn't a big fan of Fract, I think the cover system is amazing in that game, and they basically brought it over to Synapse, and it works perfectly. Overall, I think the combat is great. I think it's one of the strongest parts about this game, if not the strongest. If I had to rate the combat, I'd have to give it a 9 out of 10. It's almost perfect. Now let's talk about probably the weakest thing about Synapse, and that's probably its story. I genuinely don't remember the full story, and I beat the game. I don't remember the story, which is crazy to me because the voice actor for the Colonel is literally fucking Solid Snake. Are you trolling? But yeah, I genuinely can't remember most of the story. I mostly found myself just shooting bad guys and then progressing to the next level, and I don't think it's a bad story by any means. I think it's just unnoteworthy. It's not something you are going to be invested in. It exists if you want to have a story. But let's be honest, if you're playing Synapse, you're there for the telekinesis and combat, and that's really about it. You're not there for the story most times, unless you're there for the Solid Snake voice actor, which I don't blame you. He's fucking sick as hell. So yeah, I think that's the weakest part of its story. I don't think it's bad. It's mid. I would have to give it like a 5 out of 10. It's just, it's there. Now let's talk about roguelike. I'm not a roguelike guy. I said it. Yeah, you can crucify me. I don't. Yeah, I'm not much of a roguelike guy. But something about Synapse got me hooked on the roguelike. Not just in general, but just Synapse got me hooked into the roguelikes. Genuinely, the system felt like it was rewarding me for doing good. It didn't feel like every time I died, I didn't feel like I wanted to just completely quit and say fuck it and not want to play. But going to the skills and seeing some badass skills that'll really help in the next run, that are just in general really cool, was awesome, and it kept me hooked and invested and wanted me to keep playing the game and keep building my character to be the best it can be. Which one thing that really frustrated me about roguelikes was trying to progress but feeling like I wasn't making any progress from just dying over and over because my character sucked. I was progressing too far, my character sucked too much, and I didn't have enough to get upgrades, or the upgrades just felt like they weren't doing a lot and felt like it was padding out its upgrades for more playtime. Synapse doesn't do that. It literally gives you the ability to pick up enemies through like its second skill, or like its second or third skill, which, by the way, is infinite. There's no cooldown. There's no cooldown on this. You could just pick people up and just start throwing them. You probably could do a no gun run, except for the big guys, if you wanted to. That's how strong it is. It just gives you OP shit. It just gives you the coolest shit. You have shotguns, you have grenade launchers, you have telekinesis. You kill an enemy, he might drop explosives. Like, also, another thing is, each time you finish a level, you get a rank. That could rank from S to whatever the fuck. I don't know. I wasn't that bad. But after each run, you choose one of the two perks, and let's say like one of the perks is, oh, if you shoot an enemy, all the damage that he takes could be spread out to other enemies. And then the other one's like, oh, the last bullet in your magazine could be a grenade. And you choose either one of those perks, and that stays with you the entire run. And this shit can stack too. There's V2 versions of this. So like bullets that will do more damage at close range, you could get a second level of that to where now bullets do even more damage at close range, and you're just an unstoppable killing demon. Not to mention, during runs, there's stuff like health fonts, which give you health. There's trifectas, which basically can do things like restore 25 of your health, refill your ammo, or whatever. Damn. And you can spend Defiance, which is basically like your credits at that point. And your Defiance basically allows you to get this stuff. There's even weapon statues that can either give you SMGs, shotguns, grenade launchers, or upgraded telekinesis. And you can upgrade these to get like tier 4 and tier 5 at like your skills, which is insane. Do you understand how much damage I was doing at like tier 3 just in general? Like, it's insane. Something about Synapse's roguelike system just felt rewarding and felt like it was actually giving me cool shit for just playing the game and having fun. feel like I could have fun without worrying about the stress of, oh my god, I'm gonna die on this run, I'm gonna lose everything, oh my god, that's so much progress lost, now I have to start grinding everything. I didn't have to worry about that. If I died on a run, I was like, type shit. Then I moved on, got some cool ass upgrades, came back stronger than ever. It was awesome. I love how Synapse handles the roguelike system. I'm gonna have to give its roguelike system a 10 out of 10. Absolute cinema. Now let's talk about its graphics. The graphics are pretty cool. It has a unique art style that looks really good in the headset, especially the PSVR 2, because it just looks good and was built for it. So it uses those OLED displays beautifully. Now, while the lenses in the headset are worse than the Quest 3, sure, the colors look better, and those OLED displays look beautiful in the game. Stuff pops out more. Blacks look more black. Whites look more white. Synapse has a very unique art style where the background is basically black and white. Most stuff is, except for important items like explosives or defiance or just telekinesis, which I think is awesome. It helps contrast the dark atmosphere of the black and white, which could be an eyesore after a while, just staring at and be bland, but it isn't, because you have all this stuff contrasting it while still allowing the black and white atmosphere to be prominent. But there's just enough color there to pop out at you, hence why when you look at something it glows purple, because you can use it. This is perfect, because if they didn't tell you and just left like explosive barrels being gray like everything else, it would blend in with the environment and you wouldn't know what the hell you were doing. So they execute how the art style works perfectly, in my opinion, and it's honestly, in VR it looks great. The beginning of the game starts out in color, and then once you go into the mine place, basically it all turns black and white, which is awesome. And during the ending of the game, spoilers by the way, click off if you don't want spoilers for the ending of the game, but at the ending of the game you think you made it out and everything's in color, but as you start walking out of the complex, you notice that things are starting to turn black and white until you start hearing a voice in your head, and it's the Colonel, and you realize you never truly escaped. You are still in the mind place and you have to keep going deeper into his consciousness. Absolute cinema. So yeah, I think the graphics art style is amazing, and I think it looks even better in the headset. So yeah, that's what I think of Synapse. I think Synapse is a underrated VR masterpiece that I can't believe didn't get more love when it came out, because it absolutely needs it. It's an amazing game, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not sponsored by Endreams. I'm not sponsored by anybody during this video, except for my Discord, which you can join right now in the bio. I'm not sponsored. I actually just really love the game, and I think more people should try it out. If you own a PSVR 2 headset, it's free with PlayStation Plus Premium. If you guys want more reviews like this, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below what you thought of Synapse. Let me know if you had a different opinion than mine. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and Dreams, if you're seeing this, let me onto your content creator program, or I'm gonna wave my finger at you violently. Bye.